Hi guys, it's Miss Lisa and I'm out on the porch for porch time, story time, and today I have another book for you. You can't see the first two letters. It's called Edward Gets Messy. Edward Gets Messy, written by Rita Mead and illustrated by Olga Stern. Edward Gets Messy. And the front says here, Edward is a very particular pig. He never gets messy until one day. This is Edward. Edward is a very particular pig. He detests dirt. He fears filth. He likes things to be just so. Edward never gets messy. Look, can you see that? He's jumping over the puddle. Each morning before school, Edward irons his perfectly clean clothes. He tidies his perfectly tidy room until there's not a speck of dust in sight. He vacuums his perfectly sparkling goldfish tank with a special underwater vacuum. Edward is very happy with being very clean. But it's hard work to stay that way. Could you imagine? I've ironed my clothes before, and I've made my bed, and I've cleaned, and I've dusted, but I have never vacuumed inside of a fish tank. Edward never pets friendly dogs on the street. He never eats food that spills or splatters, and he never, ever, ever, ever uses markers or glue sticks or paint because they're just too messy. It sure isn't easy being a particular pig. On the way to school one morning, Edward's friends jump in a big pile of leaves, crunch, crunch. But Edward does not get messy. He walks on the sidewalk. In Edward's science class, the baking soda volcano erupts into a spraying flow. Boom! But Edward does not get messy. He sits in the back of the room. At lunchtime, everyone else at Edward's table eats spaghetti and meatballs. Slurp. But Edward doesn't get messy. He eats a plate of steamed broccoli. On the muddy field outside, Edward's classmates play a game of baseball. Squish, squish. But Edward doesn't get messy. He stays in the stands. Edward stayed clean for most of the day. Now there's just one class left. The art teacher gives out paper and paint. This says gloop. Once again, Edward doesn't get messy. He straightens up the supply shelf, but something goes wrong. Plop. Oh dear. Splat. Oh dear. To his surprise and his horror, through no fault of his own, Edward gets messy. Edward is distraught. Edward is devastated. Edward doesn't know what to do. But wait. The next day at school, Edward helps the science teacher with the experiment. Edward gets a hit and slides into second base. And on the way home from school, he jumps into that big pile of leaves. Edward is no longer afraid to pet friendly dogs on the street or eat food that spills and splatters. And he happily uses markers and glue sticks and especially the paint. Because now Edward knows that it's okay, even for a particular pig, to get messy. After all, they can always clean up afterwards. The end. And I'm Miss Lisa, and I hope you like that porch time story time. Edward Gets Messy, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.